Yes, dear students, now let us try to understand about the lesson sources. In sources, yesterday we have discussed about oral literature, native literature, foreign literature. Yes, now yesterday we discussed about mainly oral literature. Oral literature. Can you define oral literature now? Are you able to discuss or give the meaning of this oral literature? Oral literature is the literature that pass on from one person to another person by word of mouth. By word of mouth. Oral literature is a literature. Oral literature is a literature that pass on from one person to another by word of mouth. For example, oral literature. Can you give some example? Folk songs, folk stories, then legends, folk legends, ballads, etc. are the example for this oral literature. This literature pass on from mouth to mouth. Mouth to mouth. Through words. That is called oral literature. There are some ballads are also there. What is ballad? I already told. Ballads means a song related to a hero of a particular location or a particular area. For example, the ballads of Kadugali Kumara Rama, Kempe Gowda, Tippu Sultan, then a great freedom fighter of Karnataka, Sangolli Rayanna, Meadows Taylor and others. They were the heroes. Depending upon their heroic deeds, people praised them. People praised their efforts. People appreciated their works. How? Through these ballads. Therefore, with the help of these ballads too, we can understand a history of a particular locality. For example, Tippu, through referring or hearing the ballads of Tippu, we can understand certain historical factors or information related to which place? Mysore. Related to Mysore. These legends mean the local mythological stories. These ballads are local mythological. Mythological means it may or may not be true. It may true or may not be true. Whether it is right or wrong. Totally, these ballads tells us certain information regarding or related to historical factors. For example, there are legends behind the names and places like Shravana Belagola. Legends means small stories. Now, archaeological sources. Archaeological sources. Yesterday we explained about some archaeological sources. Archaeological sources are further divided into inscriptions, coins, monuments and other ruins. Now the question is, what is excavation? Yesterday I explained what is excavation. Yesterday I explained about archaeological department, the center of this department is at Delhi. Yes, now archaeological sources can be found both inside the earth and outside the earth. Archaeological sources can be found both inside the earth and outside the earth, on the surface of the earth and also the interior of the earth. Through the process of excavation, we can dig the materials by using scientific methods. We can dig the materials from the interior of the earth to the out of earth, from the interior to the out of the earth. This process is called excavation. Therefore, excavation means digging out of certain things from the interior of the earth through scientific methods is called excavation. In Kannada, we can say that Utkanana. Yes, through excavation we can get certain bone pieces, terracotta pieces. What is terracotta means? Things of mud, for example pot and other items. A thing that was made up of mud, mannu, bones, images, coins and other implements. Through this information, through these things we can get a lot of information about historical factors. Therefore, here excavation plays an important role focusing on these archaeological sources. For example, during the time of Harappan civilization, nobody did not expect, while digging the earth for the purpose of construction of roads, they got certain materials, stone pieces, images, statue pieces, etc. They dug the earth for the purpose of construction of roads. At that time they got all these materials. After the excavation of those historical materials, historians studied it scientifically and totally came to the conclusion that that area means Indus, river Indus and its neighboring places was the place where a systematic civilization was practiced. That civilization is called Indus Valley civilization or Sindhu civilization. Indus means Sindhu, Sindhu a river. In that area, through the materials, we can now understood that that place was a systematic place of civilization. World's first place of systematic, well planned place of civilization. Therefore, Indian civilization means that is the civilization of our country, that is India. Therefore, Harappan civilization is the result of this archaeological sources through excavation. While digging the land or earth, historians got so many statues, beads, jewels, bangles and bone pieces, metal pieces, etc. After studying this, they came to the conclusion that the items what they got, which was belonged to which period or which dynasty, and then depending upon the year, they can explain the historical factors that related to that materials or things. Thus, archaeological sources plays an important role. First one is inscription. Archaeological sources divided into 4 types, I already told. The first one is inscription. What is inscription? Can you imagine? Inscriptions mean engraved writing. What is engraved writing means? What you say? Ketudu, chiseled out writings. Inscription means chiseled out or engraved writing. Inscription are written on stone, rock, metal, etc. Inscriptions are found in the form of writing on rock, stone, wall and other things. Which are other things? Metal, ivory, terracotta and other materials that last longer. Inscriptions are more reliable as these have a direct relationship with the events. Inscriptions are. It is a reliable factor to understand the history. Why? Because it has a document. It has a document. Direct relationship with the event or direct relationship with the time. For example, Ashoka's pillar inscription, Maroli's pillar inscription. Then Bijapur, it is well known for Gol Gumbaz, Bijapur, echoing. Then Samudragupta's Allahabad pillar inscription, Immadi Pulakeshi's Aihole inscription, Karavela's Hathigumpa inscription. Who was Karavela? During the time of Karavela, Hathigumpa inscriptions throws light about his reign. Reign means rule. Karavela was none other than the enemy of Ashoka. Karavela was the ruler of Kalinga. Ashoka waged a war against this Karavela, and after that war he got rid of war. Because of war causes deaths. Therefore, at last Ashoka got the title Priyadarshini. Yes. Karavela's Hathigumpa inscriptions and other inscriptions portrays, means tells some the military achievements of the rulers, military achievements, military expeditions of Pulakeshi, Samudragupta and also Karavela. And so many inscriptions are there. For example, Rashtrakutas, they have their own inscriptions. Hoysalas, Badami Chalukyas, Kalyana Chalukyas. Different dynasties have different inscriptions, and historians, by referring those inscriptions, they can glorify the royal dynasties for which the inscription is related. Second one is coins. For example, coin in shape, coin is very small, but it has a lot of information. Coin is very small in size. It is made up of metal or bronze, gold, silver, etc. But these coins contain a lot of information about the social life of a particular period. It tells about social life, political life, and economic life, art and architecture of a certain period. All the information related to the historians, the coin has. Therefore, coins are one of the sources of history or sources to study history. The importance of coins are, what are the importance of coins? These coins tells about the geographical extent of a particular ruler. What is the geographical extension? Means extension of a particular king's empire. Samrajyada Vistara. Extension of his territory. That is the first point. Importance of coins. First point, it tells about the extension of or geographical extension of a particular ruler. Second one, they also aid us to knowing the language, administration, titles of the kings. Second point, it tells about the language of a particular dynasty, culture of a particular dynasty, and also it suggests a total social life of certain dynasties. For example, the coin is related to Hoysalas. It tells about Hoysala dynasty. In the coin minted during the time of Hoysalas, there was a symbol in the coin, a picture. That picture shows Sala killing the tiger. Depending upon that picture or image, we can understand how the dynasty known as Hoysala. Thus, coins are also an important source to study history. It tells a lot of information about geographical extension of a particular dynasty. Then it also tells about language, customs and administration and titles of the king. Third one, it also tells about economic condition of the times, economic condition and technological development of the time. What is economic condition means? Economic condition means it is nothing but financial condition, whether the dynasty or the empire, whether it is strong or weak. Through coins, it is very easy to understand. When it is easy, if certain matters, if these coins are included, then only it is easy. Certain references are there. Without the references, coins are useless. But some coins tells the economic condition of the dynasty. For example, Samudragupta, he minted 7 types of gold coins. Then how can you imagine the economic condition of Samudragupta? Economic condition of Chandragupta can be measured through these gold coins. Means economically the dynasty, Gupta dynasty was well or sound. Yes, through coins it is also possible to understand the religious conditions of the kings. For example, Gautami Putra Shatakarni, GPS, in history he was famous as GPS. GPS means Gautami Putra Shatakarni, a Shatavana ruler. He minted so many coins that coins tells that he performed Ashwamedha Yaga. It shows the religious or spiritual condition of Shatavahana period. Ashwamedha Yaga. He performed Ashwamedha Yaga. Who performed? Gautami Putra Shatakarni. Who was Gautami Putra Shatakarni? He was the famous king of Shatavahana dynasty. Yes, next, monuments. Monuments are one of the important sources of history. To study history, monuments are very important. For example, palaces, temples, statues. For example, Gomateshwara statue of Shravanabelagola that tells the story of that period. Palaces also tells the history of that locality. Forts and pillars, etc. are the major sources of history. Mehraulli's iron pillar and Vijayapura's whispering Golagumbas are the evidences of the maturity of the science and technical knowledge. Science and technical knowledge of the past. The people of that time, they were well versed in science and technology. Therefore, it is called, our country is following Sanatana Samskriti, means the Rishimunis and other Vedantis, social reformers, religious reformers, they are all the scientists. Some are scientists related to science. Some are scientists related to social, to improve the society, to uplift the condition of the poor people. Thus, Mehraulli's pillar inscription, then Golagumbas, all these inscriptions shows the technological and scientific development of that period. And Aihole and Pattadakal temples, temples of Aihole and Pattadakal, that shows the spiritual glory of that period. The UNESCO, it is considered this Aihole and Pattadakal as a World Heritage Center. All types of styles are there, where in the temples of Aihole and Pattadakal. Therefore, artists, art or drawings were also well versed during that period. Means these royals or kings or emperors, they gave patronage to art and architecture. Then other ruins. Today we shall study other ruins in our next class. Today we shall close our this period and you have to take down certain questions. Yes, the first question is, What are the uses of inscriptions? What are the uses of inscriptions? What are coins? What are coins? And mention its importance. And mention its importance. Is briefly write about monuments as archaeological source. Yes, we meet tomorrow. Sai Ram.